Chaos! Guys, chaos! I'm gonna be chaos!
No, you're gonna beat chaos.
No, I'm gonna be chaos! I'm better than chaos!
But then you can't be chaos. You have to do something better than chaos.
Chaos!
Chaos is wonderful. Shut up.
Chaos Emeralds from Sonic the Hedgehog. The Wargehog.
The Wargehog. Shadow.
Now we're on the wrong franchise.
Now we're on the wrong franchise.
Get back to the right chaos.
Back to the other chaos. Yes! Welcome back to the PTG Chaos Cast.
Oh, God.
Oh, Lord.
Yes, we're doing a PTG Chaos Quickie. I'm joined by Chaos and Adam. In Chaos. How you doing, Chaos? All right, the joke's dead. All right, that's enough.
We killed the joke.
We killed it. Much like the trailer did.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, and it's a shame that you didn't get to him because they do it in the fight against Garland. Like the whole preamble to the fight, they basically say Chaos like 900 times.
I didn't want to hear it 900 damn times.
Oh my God. Yes, PTG PowerCast. I'm joined by Kevin and Adam. Much like we did with Outriders, we're gonna do a quickie on
The demo
of a game that I don't think a lot of people saw coming. I know there was a rumor that the first Final Fantasy was getting remade again.
Yeah.
And this was not that. This was definitely against what people expected.
It's weird because it is, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as they said it was Team Ninja doing it, they said it was going to be something in the vein of a Neo or a Soulsborne type game.
Yeah.
People were like, okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And then the title came out, and then all chaos went loose.
Oh God.
And then the internet fucking went nuts.
Because internet, why not?
Exactly.
We got into that.
Because they'll complain about anything and everything.
Oh yes. But yes, we're talking about Stranger of Paradise, FF Origin, Final Fantasy Origin. This is basically, I guess, a loose reimagining of the first game.
Or before the first one.
Yeah, it's...
Well, it sounds like it's...
From what they were talking, the way they made it sound was they are just taking inspiration from the original game.
Maybe,
it has no connection to the story of the original game. So it's basically...
It must take, like, certain plot points from the original game.
It's basically a what-if of the original storyline, I guess, sort of, if you want to call it that.
And what if they look like the guys from Devil May Cry?
Oh, God. Don't even get me started.
But that was his biggest gripe from the get-go.
We'll get into that. That'll be in the What I Hate.
What I hate is longer than what I like.
Foreshadowing.
Oh, God. Yes, basically, it's a Souls-like take on the original Final Fantasy game with weird, almost, to me, it felt like weird Crystal Bearers kind of vibes.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like, sort of. But that's essentially what this is. The demo, by the way, when this comes out, is probably already done, because I'm pretty sure the demo ended on the 24th or 26th.
29th, I thought.
I don't know.
It ends basically by the end of this month, some point.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So, sorry people, if you wanted to try this, you're not going to. Maybe at a later date they'll come out with another demo of it, but they released the demo of it at the tail end of E3, which happened, what is that, a couple weeks ago now?
And that went into their first issue
Oh, God.
of it. Of the game being able to download it and then going in and it's corrupted.
Yeah, the file was, the game was,
They
you couldn't even
the
play.
wrong file.
Idiots.
There was 2 buttons. They pressed the wrong one.
They definitely hit
This
the
is
wrong
the one.
file.
Nope.
So yes, that's basically what this is. Personally, I don't like the Souls franchise. I never have.
Same.
Even
Right.
Bloodborne, I enjoyed for the most part, but I like Kevin, I wish it would fucking die.
Damn right it should.
And unlike these 2 idiots, I love the Souls series. Neo 2, Bloodborne, more than I like the Dark Souls series.
At least Neo
itself.
attempted to try to do other stuff with the genre, and it's still like it.
It's for me. It's a lot faster.
Yeah.
Than the Dark Souls 3 had a little more It was a little more faster combat to it.
Dark Souls 3 felt like Bloodborne, to be honest.
But Neo and Neo 2 did a lot faster and the
more over the
weaponry
top.
and the story was really, really good.
Okay, which to me feels like what was lacking from the Souls games, anyways. The fact that like story is so secondary. Who cares? Like, just fight big bad monsters.
The lore, you have to kind of look up some stuff, and there's a huge-ass book about it. At least Neo 2, it was more steeped in the Japanese tradition.
See, and that's part of the problem with, like, the Souls type stuff, is it suffers from the same thing that Destiny suffered from.
Oh, God. At least Destiny
You want to know
1.
the story? Fuck off and get out of the game.
Yeah, go online with the cards.
Yeah.
I'm playing a game because part of why I play a game is these different stories.
Right.
Yeah.
If I have to go to a secondary media to get your story, you suck at storytelling.
You're not good at storytelling.
Like, there is no way around
that was bad.
Yeah, it wasn't great. But I understand that it's just not for me and Kevin.
Right.
I understand that, like, basically since I wouldn't say late PS3, but like basically it's taken over this latest couple generations of consoles.
Yes.
This Souls formula has become.
And there's been different ones. You've obviously had the 3D ones. You got some of the 2D ones that have been done really good. Salt and Sacrifice or
Salt and Sanctuary,
and now Salt and Sacrifice coming out.
Yeah.
Blasphemous.
Blasphemous. There's been a lot of them, and it's just one of those things where it's a lot like the roguelites. It's just infected everything of gaming.
Yeah, it's becoming where it like basically that's what. I mean, look at Shovel Knight did the same thing. How many games of that style came out around when Shovel Knight released? Because just to try to capitalize on it.
Coming out.
Oh yeah,
and a couple other ones that are going to be on the horizon. It's a
big thing, but like the Souls franchise and just that formula in general is definitely the trend now. And Kevin and I have kind of touched on this before. It's like the RPGs that we're used to, like the Trails of Cold Steel games,
and those are starting to make a comeback now too, with obviously Tales of Arise, Scarlet Nexus.
Well, no. Tales of Arise is pure action.
Yeah, but
I'm talking about that single player RPG.
Oh no, single player RPGs haven't gone.
Yeah.
Traditional turn-based are like dying.
Turn-based
other
is
than
dead.
indie.
Yeah,
you'll get ones like what's the one that's coming out for Switch? That's basically the spiritual successor was Second Detsu. I'm not Second Detsu, but Suikoden.
Oh, Euden Chronicles or something. I don't know how you pronounce it.
The one that has that really awesome art style where like your people will be in different places in battle. You're gonna get the smaller indie ones like that, but when it comes to like the mainstream, turn-based is basically a thing of the past.
Yeah, Sea of Stars is gonna be like Chrono Trigger. I think is basically, even though that's set in the what was it, the Messenger?
Yes.
I think it's set in the Messenger world, but it's essentially a spiritual Chrono Trigger.
We've gone off topic like usual.
Yeah, but that genre of gaming was sadly died, and you can see it based on just this. I mean, look at Final Fantasy 15. I mean, Final Fantasy's taking that direction where we're even look at the FF7 remake. Yeah. It's straight away from turn-based. Like it's pretty much all action-based now.
Well, the only turn-based you really get from it is trying to get the abilities. So I mean, it has an active time gauge, but it's really for the big stuff, not your regular attacks.
It plays more like a Tales game.
Yeah,
is what it feels like.
Yeah. Like, and I like overall, I tend to prefer like action RPGs, but that's just because they feel smoother than turn-based used to.
Yeah.
Because I've gone back and I've tried to like play like Legend of Dragoon and even like Xenogears. I fucking love that one. But going back to like turn-based, like where it stops what you're doing to go into combat to do it, just they're very slow. So I can kind of understand why that fad went away. But then now to be replaced by this sort of fad, it's like, eh.
That's why as I love the way the FF7 remake handled it, where when you're in the menu, everything slows down to like a crawl.
Yes.
I think that's perfect. It gives you that second to take a minute, think about what you're gonna do, and just like kind of see what's happening.
Yeah.
Whereas like Tales games, everything's just happening at once. Like Star Ocean, everything's just happening at once.
Yep.
Like the last Star Ocean, what was it? Integrity and Faithlessness. You have an 8-man battle party. The whole that's it. Like there's no swapping characters. Like you're just battling with all 8 people at once. That last battle, Oh my god, boys. It was the only time in an RPG I've ever had to manually go to a healer just to do nothing but spam healing spells because my guys were getting smoked.
Good smoke, yeah.
So, and in that game, you can set your healer up to basically you're losing no magic points using the best healing spell.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think also now with everything going into streaming and watching stuff, turn-based can seem a bit like a slog.
and I can understand
streaming.
that.
So I mean,
Yeah, but like at the same time, should the industry be building around that?
I don't think it should.
Industry
but I think
builds
also
around a viewer base.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
sad.
Well,
yeah,
no,
I mean,
they don't build
like,
around a viewer base. They build behind a buyer base, and unfortunately, there aren't many. Like, while gaming is still a huge industry, not as many people buy as frequently as they do, which is why stuff like Game Pass is successful.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, successful in quotes.
Yeah,
'cause-
we're waiting for that to implode.
Oh yeah, we'll see how that goes. I don't care for them, so.
Yeah,
But regardless, let's get back on topic.
Let's get into this. Stranger of Paradise, FF Origin. We'll get into what we actually liked about it. I'll start off. I actually think the game is pretty damn good looking. Like, for what it is, it actually looked pretty damn good.
I like the environments. I'm hoping there's more variety in what we get to see.
Yeah.
Because I will say, like, the one complaint as far as environment goes, like, you noticed it. There were times when like the goblins disappeared into the background.
Oh yeah, and the fact that you have no map.
Yes.
It was the same kind of issue we had with Godfall, where it's like it's this big sprawling map, and I have no fucking idea where I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I like the art style. From what little we've seen, the weapon and armor designs
They're pretty good.
They're pretty good.
It's Team Ninja fare.
Yeah.
Yeah, graphically, I don't think I could really ask for much.
No, I noticed a few times as I'm panning cameras, there's like slight stuttering or something with
Did
graphics.
you put it on graphics? Or you put it on performance? Because
I didn't think that was an option.
Yes, there is.
Oh.
There is a graphics option. So you have one that does, I think.
I had mine on graphics.
It's 30 frames.
Right.
And everything,
30, yeah.
is graphically a little bit better than you have your performance, which everything runs at 60 frames.
Right.
And it looks.
I want to say I had it at 60.
Okay.
It was a little choppy here and there, but honestly, I'm just chalking it up to demo.
I'm assuming demo as well. I had on 60 frames, and I thought it looked amazingly well.
Yeah, it looked very good for what
I don't
it is.
mind playing the 30 frames, but when you go to the new systems, considering we were playing PS4 and everything was...
Yeah.
At that, I like it looking like kind of like that PC 60 frame.
Yeah.
Even it still looks great graphically.
Well,
yeah, it looks nicer.
Some games benefit from the higher frame rate, other ones don't. So
right.
For me, it depends on what I'm playing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, which actually, it's funny because like the FF7 remake just had their big update with Integrate, and you now have that graphical thing. It's weird to go back to...
Right.
Like, even the performance. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, with that
back
30
to the
frames
30
a second.
frames, yeah. And then you go on, then, like, you go on the PS5, and like, I want 60 frames. Oh my god, this looks nice. And even the cutscenes look great.
Oh, yeah. The game's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Like, and it reminded me how fucking well they did it with that remake, man. I'll tell you. Like, I was never huge into FF7. I liked it, obviously, but this game, like, it changed my mind completely. The remake was fan-fucking-tastic. But it's like everything felt like it responded better in that 60.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like you said, it's weird to go back to that 30 frames a second, even though it's supposed to look better.
Yeah.
Or whatever. I know exactly what you mean. But yeah, the game looks great. It actually handles pretty well as far as like, I didn't run into any like weird things where I'm hitting a button and nothing happens.
I will say combat, like if I don't know, like if this was just me, but because of the style where it's the R1, R2 is your
attack.
So there are a couple of times where I would like triple tap R and be like, shit, I wanted to double tap. Mm-hmm. And like
I had the same thing.
But I don't know if that's just me being used to stuff like Dynasty Warrior button masher type.
You and I are of that mind where we just smash the button to just keep going with the combo, like a hack and slash.
Yeah.
Which this is definitely not.
It's not, and it's kind of different because I'm going to go back to, I'm going to always say Neo 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. That one is all face button, and then the trigger button, I think one was for block, one was for aiming. For that one. I had to kind of turn that part of me off when playing Stranger Paradise. That whole R1, R2, I just wasn't...
It threw me off.
It threw me off.
It threw me off.
And also, well, something I did like, the whole magic system, where you could actually steal from the other person to use it. I thought that was kind of cool.
It's very clever.
Because it's not like okay, do I know what it is? Because it still plays like that Final Fantasy 12, where it would show something over the enemy of what they're about to do.
Yeah.
But the fact when it goes into blue type, that you could actually absorb it and then use it against them. The bombs.
Yeah.
Where they shoot the fire, you can absorb it, shoot the fire back, and essentially make them grow until they self-destruct.
Yeah.
I thought that was fucking ingenious.
It was very, very clever. Like, I have to say, those controls aside, there's a lot about the combat I really, really liked, and that was one of them, is the fact that, you have, like, it was essentially a parry.
Yeah, it's a parry.
It's a
blue mage. Well, it's funny because like if you're parrying, it'll parry melee attacks, but then like if your enemy uses an ability, you blue mage that shit and steal it.
Yeah, it was like an enemy skill.
Well, it also introduces Neo 1 and 2, Team Ninja did a stamina gauge with theirs, so you had a stamina gauge in this one as well. But if you
yes, no.
But if you blocked it took down stuff, and if you got down all the way, then you were staggered.
Yeah.
And then you were getting screwed.
That was actually one of the things I liked about this, was that there was no stamina. Like, you could just swing for the fences and
one
not
of my
worry
big complaints about the genre is like, it's like Dark Souls or like Neo. It makes a little bit more sense. Dude wasn't a warrior with those types of weapons. Okay, fine. But like Dark Souls, I choose a knight. Sorry, but knights didn't just swing a sword twice and then we're out of stamina for being able to swing. Go fuck yourself. It's not someone who trains with a sword literally daily for like their entire life is not winded by swinging a sword twice.
Right.
Yeah.
So it doesn't. The stamina systems, I get what they were trying to do.
Well, it could
but
be
they
a stagger
suck.
gauge type thing with that. So
I'm the same way. I don't care for games with stamina systems because it's like it basically it forces you to employ a stick and move tactic where it's like swing, now I gotta sit here. Swing, now I gotta sit here. It's like that gets old to me, especially when you're in like super intense battles, like in a lot of the Souls games with the bigger creatures. The last thing I want to worry about is, do I have enough stamina to evade this attack or to block this attack? It's like it comes down to like, I don't know, maybe it's just me.
It slows things down too much.
Maybe it's just me where it's just I don't like to think that much. But like this one was nice because there was no stamina system. I can run around, I can dodge all fucking day. It was just with that soul. What do they call that? It was like the soul parry or soul barrier or something like that.
It was like something soul barrier.
Well, yeah, honestly, I know it feeds off of both your parry and your normal block.
Yeah.
So I like that break gauge system.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of nice that your evasion had no stamina. Your attack had no stamina. It was just affected by your blocking and your soul barrier. I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
That actually played out pretty well.
Oh, and certain
has a
enemy
risk
attacks,
reward
certain enemy attacks can knock it down too.
Yes.
Right.
So,
but I thought that was actually very well done. And actually, since you mentioned the magic system, I just thought
the job system.
Basically it was a job system.
It was a job system and weapon. It was like just like Neo, where you can use swords, Kusararama, the little sickle and chain. Freaking tonfas, claw weapon. Every weapon seemed to have a job considered to it. So you had your big great sword. That was a warrior.
Yeah.
You had the weird-looking club thing or dual thing, and that was a mage. And I was like, okay, this is interesting. I like how this is going.
I actually liked the black mage class.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of cool how it was able to equip a shield
it
and then
starts
like
off as mage, becomes black.
Yeah,
mage.
That's right.
And I like how like the weapons, like your job levels up as you're playing it. So it's not like a thing where I have to have experience. I got to get all this experience, and now I'm gonna level this. No, if you use the weapon or use
that's
that
honestly
sort of thing, that I like.
That's honestly one of my favorite things about it is that it's not I got all these experience, now I have to go to a campfire and look at my stats and decide what I want to put points into. It's a level up. It's a proper RPG level up system.
Or you've just gone through this huge harrowing dungeon only to get felled by one stupid little enemy, and now I lost all of my experience.
Or jump off a thing accidentally.
Yeah, I lost all of my equipment. Like, shit like that irritates the piss out of me in some of those Souls games.
And kudos to them, to Team Ninja, for being like,
you can't just walk off shit.
Hey, look,
Thank
Spear, Dragoon. Thank you.
Although
I was waiting for them to be like,
you start as a Lancer, then you become a Dragoon.
Yeah, but still, you're using the spear weapons.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you, Team Ninja. You did do homework on this, and I was happy for
And I will say, when you become a Dragoon and you get that jump ability,
it's awesome.
You can do that with a greatsword.
Okay.
Yeah, because the Dragoon can equip greatswords. It was actually
Jesus.
the job system in this is fucking incredible. I think they did a very good job.
I hope there's a few more like abilities per tree in the full thing. Because it seems very easy. It seems very easy to max it out, unless if everything that's in Lancer applies then to Dragoon as well.
Yeah.
But I don't think it does.
Well, I think everything that you got from Lancer does go to Dragoon.
Well, we also got to find out too.
I think
because it was a demo, they maybe
I
understood the experience, and everything.
yes.
And maybe when the full game comes out, it's going to be a lot harder to level that stuff. Which I'll be fine with that. Too.
I noticed that. Like, you level up pretty quickly in the demo.
Oh yeah, I maxed out the Dragoon one before I even got to Garland. I was like, Jesus Christ, that was very easy. But I thought it was really neat. They did a very good job. I like the mage. I thought being able to choose from the wheel for the spells, and the longer you charge it, the stronger the spell.
You kept having that problem where he'd want to hit the button and change the spell like immediately. You have to wait till the thing pops up onto the screen to shift it. So there were a couple times where he'd go to charge it and he'd switch over to a different spell on accident.
It fucked me too much.
Whoops.
Yeah, it was, and it's like it was a pro and a con. Like, I like how they did it, how you have all the spells and you can charge them, almost kind of like didn't Fable 2 have like a magic system like that, where the longer you charged it, it did like an upgraded version of that spell?
I'm not too sure.
Because I think Fable 2 is the one with the gauntlet that you use magic out of.
I think so. And I remember watching you play Fable 2.
Yeah, I think that was Fable 2.
I want to say that's what it was. But like, I thought that was neat. The longer you charge it, it goes from Fire to Fira to Faraga, and I thought that was really neat. It even had Ruin in there, which none of these games do, because that's something from 13, where the non-elemental spell.
Yeah.
Even though that was useless. But I'll get into that.
Well, also Ruin is a part of a combo and not an actual spell.
Well, it was just a spell. You got it as one of like the weird class abilities.
No, but that's what I mean. You have to hit R2. It's not part of the hold the cast ability.
No, you're right. You're right. It wasn't.
But there were 2 spells missing from the when you charge it and that wheel pops up. There's 2 spells missing.
Yeah.
So
I almost wonder if they're gonna be
dark and light magic or something.
Maybe something like that.
Ultima.
That could be. Flare. I
Unless they're gonna,
Knights of the Round.
Oh god.
It wouldn't surprise me if there were summons.
5-minute summon. Have to dodge those 5 minutes before it goes.
In a game like this, if there's gonna be summons, they'll probably be more like Final Fantasy 15's were, where they're
autonomous.
Yeah. Even Final Fantasy
7 remake.
Yeah. Which actually I liked them in the remake. I thought they did.
So they'll just be little things that pop up when you're doing poorly in a fight or something like that under certain conditions, and then they'll do their thing and then go away.
Yeah.
But yeah, battle felt good. Holy shit, is there a lot of fucking equipment in that goddamn game?
Well, I think drop rates were probably pushed up for the demo.
I can only hope so, because it felt like you clear one room and I've got like 6 different pieces of equipment.
Yeah. Which 4 of them are the same item but higher level, and something else weird.
Yeah.
Which goes into that Neo type of gear thing.
Well, and then with the gear, I love the affinity system.
Me too. I thought it was really cool.
So like if I'm playing as the mage and all my gear has an affinity for a mage, I get all these cool stat boosts because of it.
Yeah.
I was saying,
and even when you change jobs too, it also changes your gear. So you have separate gear for each job.
Which I liked.
Which is good.
Me too. I think that's a good touch. And I'm about to say, too much equipment is not necessarily a bad thing.
In that regard, it reminds me of like a Diablo.
Yeah.
Yeah, unless we can find out a way if there is
a way to dismantle or mark.
Dismantle or, like I said, in Neo, you can actually get more souls out of it.
Yeah, you trade them in. I'm expecting something like that in the full game.
Yeah.
To be able to break equipment down on the fly.
Yeah, if Team Ninja, they should have something like that.
There's going to be some form of currency we weren't getting to experience in the demo.
I hope so. Because it did come a point where it's like I have so much clutter, and I had a hard time keeping track of what I had.
Yeah.
So like that was the only real issue with that. But otherwise, it's like I like it a lot because weapons were very different. Like even two of the same one could have different skills. It could have different affinities. So it's like there's a potential for a lot of really good builds.
Yeah.
That you can do, even a different build with the same class. And I think that's always good. Degrees of customization to me in these types of games are always a plus.
Well, especially because like you have that we didn't even touch on it with the skills, but where you can change the combos. Where like R1 R2 is one thing, but then I can go R1 R1 R2 and it's a different thing. And you can get the different spells, like the different skills you can use. And then like for like the warrior, just hitting R2 when you're doing nothing else, he does that spin.
Yeah.
So then you can do different combos like of your basic attack and then R2 to activate different abilities, and I think that system was really cool.
It almost felt like a Dynasty Warriors like combo system.
Sort of, yeah.
Where it's like you do light attacks and then it alters your, or not Dynasty Warrior. Well, I suppose it's kind of the same damn thing. It's like the Zelda ones. The Hyrule Warriors.
Your tree of attack and then down.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly how it felt. But you can alter it. Like, I thought it was cool. You can actually go into the menu and change what your combos are.
And then the cooler thing was, like, there's a second slot underneath the alteration, which I'm wondering if we're going to be able to add elemental abilities and stuff to the attacks.
Or even just, like, boosts to the attack themselves.
Boost to the attack, or even being able to use other abilities from different jobs.
As weird as it sounds, being able to add if we can in the full version be able to add like elemental and stuff, it would remind me of the junction system.
Actually, it kind of reminds me more of like Tales of Zestiria or Berseria. How like your basic attacks had like those secondary effects.
Kind of.
That's kind of what it would remind me of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that too. Actually.
Yeah, just the way it's set up, if you're going to be able to swap like element or add like drain life into stuff,
that would be cool.
Or the ability to drain MP with certain like skills. Like, yeah, that would be really, really cool.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Because there was a whole lot of abilities that were locked off that no vision can see anything for.
Yeah. There's a lot of really good fucking ideas.
There's a lot of good ideas, and coming from us, they'll probably won't use any of them.
Yeah.
It'll just be something really weird and be like, why?
Yeah. All right. So, I already went over the jobs, so I can skip that part of my notes. Well, this is a part, Adam.
Although, one thing, like the jobs in the because we were going to touch this.
Oh yeah.
So we had warrior, which we had warrior, which could become fight, or was it fighter that became warrior?
I
think it was fighter became warrior because warrior got war cry.
Yeah.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah.
Then we had lancer who becomes dragoon.
Yep.
You had the mage that became black mage.
Yeah.
And that's what we've seen in the demo. So like, I'm hoping, based on what we saw the other people using, thief.
Yeah,
white mage,
would be cool.
Red mage.
Because the one guy used dual daggers.
The other guy
punches.
Yeah, the guy had the gauntlets on his belt.
Yeah.
The black guy.
So so I'm assuming maybe monk and thief.
That would be cool.
Which
I would
could
love
become
to see
black
that.
belt or something like for monk.
Thief,
Well, if this is everything Final Fantasy 1, I mean, we're already
Would it be what, ninja then when thief gets upgraded?
Thief upgraded to ninja, who could equip everything.
And then the monk became
black belt.
Black belt. Yeah.
Black belt became the master monk.
Oh, there we go. Sorry, it was the other way.
Yeah.
So like I'm hoping those will be two other classes. I don't know how well white mage would work.
Well,
red mage on the other hand would work.
Red mage would work.
Red mage would work, and to be honest,
red mage would be the way to go.
To also be fair, there wasn't a dragoon in Final Fantasy 1.
No,
there wasn't.
So
that's why.
So I'm wondering how far are we going to go with this as far as jobs?
Yeah, are they going to jump up to like what was it, Final Fantasy 4 and 5, where they use those jobs instead?
I mean, they got a really good skeleton to build off of, and they picked the right team. And I keep saying this, Team Ninja, I'm a huge fan of. Yeah, they picked a good group to really do something with. It all depends on if
the final execution,
final execution, and what they're going to be told what they're supposed to do.
Yeah,
because if anything, Square is very protective of how everything looks.
They've been kind of hit or miss lately.
From the sound of it, though, Square is definitely giving them some latitude to do Team Ninja things.
That's what I'm hoping for.
So.
Although we'll go into things I don't like, and I will on that. But go ahead.
Because I still have a couple of things. This you might not be able to talk about much because you didn't get there. But the Garland fight, the boss fight. I didn't beat it.
I did.
I did not beat it.
I watched it and I said,
It's
holy
fucking
shit.
incredible.
I'll completely upfront. The first time I went through the demo, I did it on normal. It did kick my ass when I got to that fight. It beat me. I did end up going through the demo on easy and beating it, and then going back to normal and beating it.
Okay, good.
Because I did learn, and that's my big thing was, I kept wanting to do certain things, but whenever you popped out the elemental blades, they're unblockable attacks, and for whatever fucking reason, they just would not accept in my head that I can't block this.
Yeah. Well, and you watched me play it.
Yes.
So you know how frustrated I got.
I would have loved to seen a video of it.
There were times where I just walked into the room and I took a first hit and I'm just like, fuck it, just kill me. Just fucking kill
That
me.
is exactly how I think you'd do it. Yeah.
And the funny thing is, like, yeah, I went over and I was like, because we had recorded that day.
Yeah, we recorded earlier.
And then went back to Andy's place, and he's like, oh, yeah, I'll try that. So I'm like, yeah, I'll hang out. I'll watch him play it. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to run through. He got to the thing, lost. He's like, yeah, okay, that's cool. I'm done for now. Another, like, 45 minutes later, he's still fighting the boss, trying to get shit done.
To my credit, I did get real fucking close.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got real fucking
But that's
close.
the worst ones.
Although,
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't want to, you're sitting there like, okay, I need like one hit, but I really don't want to screw this up. And then because of the inaction, you screw it up, and you're like,
yeah.
what the hell?
And it was kind of cool. A couple of times, he managed to knock down the stamina gauge before his health bar.
Yeah.
So whenever you break the stamina gauge, it automatically drops him to the next segment.
That was pretty great. That was one
Oh,
thing we didn't
really?
touch on was the
Yeah.
stagger gauge. So enemies will have this. It's essentially a stagger gauge from like FF13,
Right.
Yeah.
where basically you break it and it's basically a one-hit kill in
It
this.
stuns them, you go up, you hit circle.
Yeah.
And a lot of the
Oh,
enemies...
so it's like Sekiro in a certain extent.
Pretty much.
He turns them, like, he'll grab different enemies, he does different things to, like the goblins, he, like, stomps on them, they turn to crystal and shatters.
shatters,
He
yeah.
grabs the
I like
bombs
that. I
and he,
like
like,
that
rips them
ability.
apart.
I really like that. When
It never got old.
No, it doesn't. And
No.
I'm shocked because I thought that was going to get old, but I'm like, oh yeah, just put in crystal and bang.
I'm happy that you cannot be interrupted in it, because that was my biggest fear. Is in the middle of those animations
Get
where
hit.
he's tackling the bomb or whatever, I was going to get hit.
Or
and that
even if
doesn't
you don't
happen.
get interrupted, you would take damage during
Yes,
it.
I am
But they
very
don't.
happy.
You are, during those little cut, like, cinematics,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call them,
You're
you are
invincible.
completely immune.
And I am happy about that. That's one thing they did right. I'm very happy about that. But yeah, Garland, if you knock his stagger gauge down before he gets to that halfway mark, you can just knock him straight down to the half.
Yeah.
Which I did a couple
That's
times.
cool.
I actually
So that
that's the
means-
saddest part is I got proficient at the first half.
So you-
it's always phase 2.
So it basically means you can outright, like, kill enemies by HP, or you can do it by the gauge.
Yeah.
Which means you can have completely different builds to go for different things during the fight.
It's clever. I like that. I actually don't
I
mind
actually
that.
do like that. I'm a fan of those. So
Although the cutscene when you get him to the halfway part, he fucking shook his head
Oh,
so hard.
It's
'Cause
so stupid.
when you do it, you get him to the halfway mark, like, or you drop his stagger gauge. Like, Garland goes down, you walk up, you, like, stomp on his sword, grab him, and you punch him in the face.
Fucking Jack just starts punching him in the face. This dude's wearing full armor.
He's wearing
And he's-
plate mail armor,
he's-
and you
it's
punch him in the face.
I was getting flashbacks.
It's God hand all over
No, I was
again.
getting flashbacks to Resident Evil fucking 5
Chris and
Chris
boulders.
punching the goddamn boulder. I'm shaking my, I'm like, this is not.
I thought that
This
was,
is
was 4.
no.
That's 5. 4 is Leon.
Oh yeah, 5 was the one when he was punching. Yeah,
When I saw him
now.
start punching Garland, I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah, like, immediately. He's like, as soon as he saw what was happening, he's like, he's not gonna. This is dumb.
This is stupid. I can't right now. I was like, this just adds further to his douchery. I'm like,
Oh.
Chad, come on. But that was my only moment where I visibly like did my flat mouth. I just started shaking my head. I'm like, no,
No.
this is not what would happen. This is dumb.
Yeah. It was so funny.
Otherwise, Garland was a fucking total badass.
I love the way he looks.
He reminded me of the judges from 12.
Kind of. His different elemental swords were really, really cool.
Very neat. It was a
So
cool
he did
fucking
fire,
fight.
at least fire and ice. I don't know if he did lightning blade.
I think it was just fire and ice.
And
I
then
think-
he jumps up and shoots the lightning.
yeah. But he was a cool fucking. I wish you would have got to him because it's actually a pretty fucking sweet fight.
Yeah.
I really do like it. He's hard.
Yeah. But
Like any Neo boss.
Like yeah.
well, and see, and that's one of it's the weird thing with these types of games is like There are times when you're like, okay, yeah, this is doable, and then there'll be other fights you go in and you're like, it feels cheap.
Yeah.
Like the computer compensates, it like wavers in its like adaptive ability. So there are times when you're just like, okay, my timing is exactly the same. I blocked this every other time, but it hit me this time.
Or because in this demo you had 2 other party members. I don't remember what their names are off the top of my head, but you basically got.
And
it doesn't matter
like
because those the things I hate. We'll get to those 2 in a second.
I mean, I actually didn't mind the party members. As useless as they were in the end.
Oh, they were useless.
Well, and see, it's funny because like as much as I hate the Souls style, one of the reasons I like Code Vein is because you have a party member.
They're extra targets.
Yeah, and they're not an idiot. Well, in Code Vein, they weren't an idiot.
Oh, I was saying they were idiots.
They were actually pretty.
They were idiots in here.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah,
we'll get to that a little bit.
That one was a very underrated game.
Code Vein.
Code Vein. Yeah, it was.
Especially considering it's a God Eater game.
And the story was actually good. But regardless.
But there were times when I'd fight Garland where it felt like he never got off my jock. Like, he was literally always coming after me. And then there were other times where he's targeting only them. I'm able to do something. Like,
dude, the stand back when he does that explosion.
Yeah.
Hit him with the thunder, which did, like, massive amounts of damage.
I would fucking roast him with a Thundaga spell. Like, it was awesome. I actually had time to pull it off. But then there were other times where his relentless attacking it gave me no space to restore any of my soul gauge.
Yeah.
So I would essentially break and then die.
You couldn't parry, you couldn't perfect block. There just wasn't enough time to do this stuff.
Yeah, which is where it gets to that cheap point where it's like, this is why I don't like the Souls games. It's like, I understand difficulty is the thing, that's the idea, but there's things that you can do to make something difficult without being unfair. And there were times where fighting Garland felt unfair.
Yeah.
Maybe I just suck.
No, it's understandable because every boss always seems to have like one move where you cannot block it. You have to find a way to dodge at a perfect time. And yes, those can be hard.
Yeah.
But there's always some way around it. Neo was kind of the same way. You had some bosses like, okay, they're easy. As soon as you figure out what you're doing, yeah, you can take them down, no issue.
Yeah.
And then you run into somebody where you really need to learn
what they
do. And even sometimes it does get stupidly difficult, but then there's always a way around it. And so there probably is, when the full game comes out, there probably is going to be some way. Someone's going to find out, hey, when this happens, just do this. You'll get out of it every time.
I mean, granted, even though I didn't actually beat him, like I said, I got very proficient at the first half to where like I'm taking no damage. Like I'm able to evade everything. I know what his reactions are going to do. And that's a natural
progression where you get to as soon as you figure out, dude, this is going to be easy. I know it's this phase I'm going to have issues. And that's when you're going to be like, okay, how am I going to do this? What do I have to do?
Yeah.
And that's that natural progression of that Souls game where you can get to a point where I can face this guy. This is piece of cake. I know what I'm supposed to do.
And actually, I like this better because there was, essentially, for lack of a better phrase, there was no consequence to dying. Yeah, it basically you died and it reloaded. Other than you lost,
reloaded and you lost your
something magic or something.
It was something like a magic gauge.
Which
is funny because you only lose that on hard and normal, I think it is.
Yeah.
If you on easy, they don't take it away from you. They just keep. So if you've got it like built up from parrying like the weaker enemies, you basically have it up there till it breaks.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so it's like I can get. It just got to the point where I was just like, all right, I can't do this anymore, and that's why I gave up. I'm sure, given time, because if Power Trips taught us anything, is perseverance wins out in the end. Paul and I have beaten some real toughies, and these are no different. Mm-hmm. But honestly, I did love the way he looked, and the fight in general was fucking awesome. I truly did think that was it made Garland look a badass for essentially who was a big pushover. Like, in Final Fantasy 1, he's a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, he was a joke.
I can't remember if I read anything on people's opinions of what he looked like. I don't remember if I heard anything.
He's pretty spot on.
He looks amazing.
Like, he looks great. I just don't know what people were saying, because obviously, as soon as this game was announced and everything else, everybody ripped the crap out of it without even...
It was weird because people were... It was extremely divided. Like, people either loved the idea or they hated the idea. There was no middle. This is like, it's essentially as polarizing as like Final Fantasy 13 was. Yeah. You either loved it or you hated it. There was no in between where you're like, yeah, I can see this is good. no, that's not a thing with Final Fantasy 13, and it's not a thing with this either, apparently. Where, yeah, I remember seeing a lot of people just bashing the shit out of it who haven't even tried it.
Right.
You know, and I admit I did it a little bit because this isn't what I wanted. But, you know what? I gave it a try, and I liked it more than I thought I would. But we'll get into it once we're... I'm about to say, I have nothing else for good
either.
stuff other than the enemies were okay.
Enemies are Final Fantasy fare. They didn't really stray too much. And even some of the... how they looked... were essentially what they looked like in other games, and I don't have an issue with that. Don't ever reinvent the wheel if you know.
Yeah,
and some
the
of the
bombs
stuff
looked amazing,
and some of the stuff, like the bombs, they're an iconic design for RPGs.
You can't screw that up.
Their goblins looked like FF1 goblins. They're just gray instead of like the green or.
Yeah.
Well, actually, even I hope they introduce the other versions of the bombs too, the napalms and the
blizzard one.
Yeah, I forget
was there a
which one
lot
was
a
that.
lot of the enemies? If I'm completely going out left field, weren't these some of the enemies in Garland's Tower in the first game?
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, actually, they all were.
So
now that
I mean,
I think about it,
even
they're
the
going off, if they're going off source
maybe
material,
not the Griffin.
You know, kudos to them. They fucking did a great job.
Yeah.
Not just adding, hey, we're gonna put all these new things that were never in the first game to begin with.
Actually, that Griffin, no, the Griffin wasn't. There were like cockatrices in Garland's thing, but it wasn't. It wasn't something you could get to. It wasn't something you could get to right away. You needed the magic key.
Oh, okay.
But
or they were rare.
Or they were rare.
In the game. So I mean,
yeah. But otherwise, it was
kudos
pretty
to them. They didn't try to, I'm going to redo everything about this game that I don't need to do, but I just want to do it because, hey.
Yeah. But
they stuck with what they knew.
Yeah, and it's. I think it looks great.
Yeah.
Well, most of it looks
Most
great.
of it.
So let's get into what we don't like, which is always our favorite part of every discussion.
Yeah, that's my favorite part.
Isn't it? Well, I know for you it is.
Well,
honestly,
yeah.
So we'll start with like graphically. The worst thing I can say about graphically is fucking hell, just like the Souls series, they need to learn other colors fucking exist.
It's such a bland
It's
palette.
gray and brown. That is it.
It's basically Castlevania. Like, because
Castlevania has more color than this.
there was one of the Castlevanias had such a blah palette that I think it might have been Super
it Simon's-
Castlevania 4.
Oh yeah, because you hate that one.
Oh,
I was about
I
to say
hate
Simon's
Super
Quest, because I know everybody hates that
No,
except
that
for
one-
me.
Well,
No, like
I love that
that one at least had varying colors and then day and night change stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
Well, yeah,
like,
because Super Castlevania 4,
we kind of
just destroyed the palette.
kind
and
of-
of course he was like, "Oh, this is a great game."
Yeah, Paul loves it.
But like,
But Bloodlines had a better palette.
we touched on it earlier. Like, Andy had the problem where some of the goblins literally would start kind of like being part of the background because of their colors literally match the wall they're standing in front of.
I remember seeing that and I kind of laughed. I'm like, oh, so now we have people that are gonna sneak up on us.
At least they made the
Excellent.
good decision to make the weapons and armor, any of the drops, very, very visible.
Yes.
I never missed a drop.
Except for the one in the bush you almost walked by.
Except for the one in the bush.
That's because the screen was obscured by like the plant growth.
But that's always my biggest my biggest complaint in some games like these, where like enemies will drop shit and then I'll forget they're there and I'll just pass them by like an idiot.
Yeah.
Because like you either can't see them or like the sparkle effect is almost non-existent. Like at least in this, it was extremely visible.
Yeah.
And I liked that. But yeah, I agree. Like the color palette was just muddy and just not.
The only other thing I could think of graphically, and this one I will honestly say it might be my TV because yes, it is dying. But when you did some of those animated scenes where like you were crushing the goblin and stuff turning into crystal, were there times where it either looked blurry or just too dark when that was happening?
Not that I can recall. That might be your TV.
See, but that's because I know the backlight is dying on my TV. It needs to be replaced. But like, I don't know if that was my TV or not, and I unfortunately don't have I deleted the demos, so I don't.
Yeah, I was say because I think the demo is done anyway. But yeah, it's.
I thought it was the 29th. I could be wrong on that.
I want to say it's today.
Because I was playing it today.
Oh, I want to say it's done today. Like
Is it done?
after
I'll have to
today,
check,
I think
yeah.
it's all done. But yeah, graphically, I can see where you're coming from. I didn't have the blurriness, but
And also, it was one area, too, we could be getting a lot better when they do the full game, obviously. Forest and...
yeah,
some
I'm
of the
sure
other
there'll
stuff.
be other
There'll probably be
environments.
better stuff with that, but yeah.
Yeah.
to just choose Garland's Castle, it's kind of a...
Today. It ends today.
Oh, it ends today?
That's
Okay.
what I thought.
And feedback will be accepted until the 2nd of July.
Okay, because that was the one thing that was kind of interesting about this demo.
It was supposed to end on... supposed to be end before... but they extended it because of the issues.
Is it available to download or available to play?
It's available to play until...
It's basically a limited demo.
So it was a timed demo then. Okay, cool.
Which is kind of nice that you have this time to play the demo, and then they want you to give feedback.
Right, which I will be doing as well.
I did.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. It kind of reminds me of like how Outriders was, where that demo was a fucking trash fire, and they kind of took that
constructive criticism to heart,
and they've
they acknowledge their shortcomings with the demo. At least these guys, because it is Team Ninja, I'm willing to say they're going to listen to criticism and they will adjust accordingly.
Yes,
good. I hope so, because I'll probably do the same thing.
Those guys are probably one of the better developers.
Yeah, I would say
that I've seen, especially in that genre of game.
Yeah,
they never seem to have a bad game so far, so I'm willing to give them benefit of the doubt. But one of the things I did not like, and I know we talked about the combat and stuff, I felt it was too clunky for a Team Ninja game.
For a Team Ninja game, it is very slow.
Yes, and I was not expecting that. Like, I understand it's a Final Fantasy game, you're going to have some sort of give and take with the speed, but for guys that are supposed to be crystal bearers and being able to use all these weapons, why it was like, instead of just boom, boom, and go in. They're supposed to be proficient.
Yeah.
Well,
why is it slower?
Except it's entirely possible that Jack isn't supposed to be. That's kind of, I think,
the rumor.
That's the whole like Stranger in Paradise thing.
Yeah.
Is there's supposed to there's potential that Jack is not from this world. Neither are the other two.
That could be right.
So in the original Final Fantasy, Garland and Chaos and all that, they're caught in a time loop. Yeah. That's the idea of Final Fantasy, which is why at the end of the game, after you beat the 4 fiends, you go back in time as the 4 heroes of light to go back and stop the loop.
Okay.
So maybe they're playing up the time travel thing where Jack and the other two are from the past.
Well, and then there's the other theory that is Jack going to end up being Garland. Because, no, they make direct reference to it in the fight. Hey, he just used that move. The only other person I've seen that you move is you, Jack.
Yeah, that's
so
possible.
There's the possibility of, you are separate from Garland because of Chaos.
But
it's...
That would be dumb.
Well, first of all,
it's very cliche, but it wouldn't surprise
me. Anything that you decide to do time travel, we know you're going to go after it.
I like time travel when it's done right. Chrono Trigger did time travel right. Final Fantasy 13-2 did time travel right. There have been games that have done time travel right, but
I'm hoping the combat system is a little bit more overhauled when the full game comes out. It just does not feel like I said, I'm a huge fan of Team Ninja. I expect a certain quickness with their combat.
Yeah, but
it was just it didn't.
At the same time, I'm not expecting Ninja Gaiden levels of combat.
No, I'm not expecting that. But at least Neo 1 and 2 was a good give and take on the speed. Obviously, Great Swords are going to be slow, and that was slow. The regular weapons.
Well, I don't know. The spear felt pretty quick.
The spear was pretty good.
The spear was quick. So I mean, I'm gonna
And there's always the possibility that armor and equipment will be able to alter that sort of stuff. We have not seen they
haven't done a full thing yet.
I'm fairly certain they said somewhere that the stuff we can get in the demo is only a fraction of the abilities and stuff that will be in the full game.
I will give them benefit of the doubt. But combat I was really kind of
Kevin
about.
I'm actually right there with you, as Kevin can attest to. There were times where I just forgot what the button was. Because you have 2 different buttons to block. You have L1 to use your regular button, and then circle.
Circle is your parry.
Circle, for some reason, is your soul. So, there were times where it's I want to do one, but then, I'm not. Because I forget I have it.
What was L2?
L2 was to bring up your action menu. But, the action abilities. And that kind of
spells and
no, the quick spells. It's the ones you could. Yeah, okay, it's a class specific.
The Lightbringer. We didn't even touch on it. As per usual, I forgot I had it.
Yeah, I did too.
I forgot I had all of those abilities.
Oh yeah.
Right? And that's
the only fight Lightbringer is useful for
is Garland.
Yes. Because it breaks the stamina gauge, which makes it easier to drain it. But usually once you're in the fight, you're like, I forget I have this.
I
Then
also
add in the
forget I
fact-
have that armor boosting ability.
And
Add
that
in the fact that,
ability
like,
is
it-
straight out of Neo, where you can hit, I think it was triangle and circle, and you go into kind of like your alter ego.
Well, that's been a
and
staple.
go
Of,
into,
like,
it's a staple of those, but like
it's a double trigger.
Even playing those games, I'll forget that I have it. It's like, Adam,
well,
come on.
but like the drawbacks to using it are too much sometimes because like doesn't it prevents like flinch and knockback and stuff.
You can't be staggered, but you can still take damage.
So like you'll fuck yourself by basically getting stuck in the middle of something without like being able to get out of it. So you just keep taking damage.
This is kind of the same problem I had with like God of War from 2018 was there were so many combinations of attacks that I just forgot I had them. Like you can press it a couple times, you can then go double tap and then press triangle, press it and then hold L2 and throw it. I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, I forgot I have these moves. And that's kind of the same feeling I got in this.
On most enemies, you only need your basic attacks.
Yeah, like you have R1 and R2 for your light and your heavies, but then you also had L2 to bring up class moves, but then you also had like face buttons to do other shit, and I'm like, I just forget that I have these moves. So it's like combat felt very cumbersome. And which is where like my stumbling block against Garland came from.
But I also think part of that too is like if you were to only be playing this game, that would go away.
Maybe that's
going
the
between this and Final Fantasy VII because the remake is what you were playing before playing the demo,
and it's very different.
Going and hitting what was it like square is your attack in Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah.
That's like your dodge or whatever. No, X is the dodge in this one. So like square did like nothing. So you'd go to hit square to attack and be like, shit, wrong. Hit the shoulder button, not fucking.
Or in the Final Fantasy or FF7 remake, R1 is your block, I think. In this one, it's L1, and I'm like, I'm just constantly confused.
Yeah.
And I don't do well in quick situations where I have to think. When I see Garland flying at me with his big ice sword, I can't remember which button's block. All right?
That is an issue.
And maybe that's just me. Maybe I just really suck at these games.
No, because I had the same issue when I first jumped into it. Is like the only reason I could get used to R1 and stuff being attack is because Assassin's Creed Valhalla. R1, R2 are my attacks.
God of War, Godfall, they
Yeah.
all had the same type of battle. Yeah.
So like I was able to slide into it a little bit easier than you were, but it did trip me up occasionally.
Yeah.
And I absolutely forgot about like half my abilities.
Yeah, me too. Like I said, that move where you can like bolster your defense or whatever, I just forgot I had it. I never used it because it's like in the middle of battle when things are frantic, I'm not thinking to hold L2 and then press a face button. I don't know. It was just very strange.
Yeah.
Well, hell, we couldn't even figure out how to use them at first because it looks like they were highlighting the directional pad. I'm like, that's not how you do this, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because down is always
your potion.
Is always your potion. I think right is another way to activate Lightbringer, wasn't it?
Fuck me if I remember.
I don't remember. But yeah, it's one of those things where it's like the menus, they explain stuff but don't really explain it very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I definitely get where Adam's like battle can be a bit of a chore in my opinion.
Yeah.
It can be a little bit too much when things are happening frantically and you have to remember which button combination to do which move. You're like, all right.
Yeah, it does get
a
bit
Which I will say, and that's not even the worst thing. To me, fucking Jack.
Oh, his design.
I absolutely deplore. He might, and this is not hyperbole. I think he is by far the worst looking character design I have ever seen for a Final Fantasy
looks
game.
like he was.
I hate him.
Looks like he was ripped straight out of Devil May Cry.
He looks
just the most generic character ever.
Well, not even Devil May. He looks like he was from
generic.
DMC, like the remake, where it was
I
young
like
Dante.
that one.
That was all right, but he doesn't belong in a fucking Final Fantasy game.
No.
Like it just the other two characters look fine. I'm all right with them. Like their character design, I thought was pretty spot on.
I really hope we get into who those two are because I don't care that demo did not give any context to anybody.
My guess is that's already a good way into the story.
Well, if it's taking cues from the original, that's basically like the first boss you would fight.
Is Garland?
You go from Corneria.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
To Garland to rescue Princess Sarah.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
We'll see how this plays out. But
yeah, like he's just like the most like milquetoast bland character design
I
ever.
truly despise him. He seems
Yes.
like something out of the PS2 era.
Yeah.
Where the gruff, like you said, he's like a Dante. He's just the gruff voice, the fucking, his look, he looks like
Listen,
fucking
the voice I don't
Eminem.
mind. It's just his look is just very boring.
He looks terrible.
Chaos 900 times.
Oh my
No,
fucking god.
to be
I
honest,
can't.
like during game, that's not as bad as that trailer was.
Oh, that trailer
the trailer
was
was just
awful.
a bad choice all around.
Well, it wasn't too good. Like I said before, that preamble to fighting Garland, they said chaos like 900 fucking times too. And it was pretty old. Like, it was, yeah, we get it. He's fucking chaos. All right.
Not yet. He's gonna become.
He's gonna
chaos.
be chaos. It was, I
must become chaos.
I truly despise Jack. I think, God willing, they get enough backlash on his character design that they pull a Sonic the Hedgehog movie and redesign his ass. Because he looks fucking terrible.
Or
play
the
the
other
other guy.
option, allow us to design our own character.
I'd be alright with that, actually.
Yeah, I mean,
Just
they've
he's
done
just
it
a
before.
placeholder with like the basic assets. Allow us to just customize the way he looks.
They did it for Neo 2.
Yeah.
Because Neo 1 you played as William.
the Dutch guy.
Yeah, and he was kind of cool.
I'm
but-
just hoping they don't pull a Final Fantasy 15 route with your party where it's just a whole bunch of sausages. Like from a game standpoint, it doesn't really matter to me, but it breaks up the monotony of just the voice acting when you
Yes.
have
Okay,
if you
I'll
have
give you
four
that.
fucking guys.
You see enough sausages in your life.
Well, I'm just saying, when you have four fucking guys all going, hoo-ha, yeah, it gets old.
Turn it to Japanese, you won't notice.
It
the
gets
Oh, yeah.
old. Like, give me some diversity in this party. It was the same issue I had with Final Fantasy
People of
12.
color in this game.
Well, it was the same issue I had in Final Fantasy 12, where you have all these amazing races and things that are
and
established
then
in that
everyone's human
world.
except for Fran.
Everyone's human.
Except for
It's
Fran. And
it's the most boring party of any Final Fantasy game,
Yeah.
and I hate it. And it was the reason I hated 12 so much. But like, I'm hoping they don't do that with this. I really hope Jack is
hoping
redesigned, because I think he's a fucking bag of hot garbage. I despise playing as... I would rather play as the dude with the gauntlets.
Yeah.
He
He
was
was
fucking
cool.
badass, man.
and yeah, the Jet or whatever, like the other dude with the daggers, he looked like a Final Fantasy 13 character.
Yeah, he looked like something out of Type O.
No, he looked like he was
So,
like ripped out of Cocoon.
Here's hoping
yeah.
that Jack is customizable, because that does look like
I hate him.
Somebody just went, yeah, I just want to play this game, and just did the most boring thing.
Guys, can we
do.
borrow Dante for a second? I just... yeah.
And cut his hair, give him a new scar.
Yeah. I'm the real Jack. Guess I'm the real Jack.
That's actually
Please stand up.
as soon as,
No.
as soon as I showed him.
Don't give them ideas, because you know it's going to happen in the full game. They're going into a full battle rap before Garland. So,
As soon as I showed him the trailer, he's like, "It's Eminem." I'm like, "Oh God!"
You know, I kind of looked at that.
I couldn't unsee it after he said that. I'm like, "I hate you.
I
hate
looked
you
at
so much."
that and I'm like, this is awful. I don't want to say this, but no, okay, sure. Let's
Yeah.
go with this. Can I just please play?
It was just his design's horrible. I can't stress it enough, and I know the fan base hates it.
I know Team Ninja can do better.
I don't think there's anybody who's actually okay with his design.
See, and that's why, like, I'm hoping he's just like
Well,
the
no, I
generic
don't think anybody's okay with the
placeholder.
design. I don't know how many people actually played this demo, so considering
true.
everybody complained about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but honestly, that's my biggest complaint. Is just is him. Otherwise, the only other thing I have is, and I mentioned this in the good part, but it also kind of falls into the bad part as well, is too much equipment. Like, you're
Why?
getting weapons and armor hand over fist to where it feels like it's almost too much at
See,
some
and
time.
like, and this is where, like, for me, it's definitely like a good and a bad. It's good because it's vastly better than like most of the Souls franchise type
Mm-hmm.
games, where it's, oh, I got this sword 20 fucking hours ago,
Yeah.
and I'm still using it.
Oh wait, I have to upgrade it 900 times before it's actually viable.
Yeah, but and then like it's not quite to the point where it's like a Diablo where it's just raining loot on me, but it's like they got that weird spot in between where it's like, okay, are the drop rates increased for the demo,
I'm hoping.
or is like, yeah, and then it's one of those things they got to find like the good spot in between what they have and like what other games are doing.
And just for shits and giggles, I use the optimize button
Oh.
where it'll theoretically
level.
choose your
The
best
best weapons.
equipment.
It chooses it by level. I found that out.
It's by level?
It's by level.
But level didn't necessarily mean it was better for you.
But that's what it goes based on.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
So the optimization was completely pointless.
Yeah, and that's my biggest issue is like, I can have a level 5 weapon that has better abilities and stuff on it.
And better proficiency.
And then get a level 9 weapon that has no abilities or anything on it and is worse, but it just has better raw damage. So it's like, they need to find some way of
Do they
making
have an option to choose what you want to optimize based off of?
I don't know.
No,
I didn't
it
really
wasn't.
look.
Not that I saw, because I was one option I looked for was to see if it could choose by, like, because I've been playing Final Fantasy 13 again, just because I like that game a lot. And that you can choose, like, optimize your equipment based on offense, defense, if you want a balanced build. This one didn't have anything like that.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
you had seen, I used it, and it, like, took things off that, like, were optimized for that class.
Yeah.
I'm like, why are you choosing...
Well, and that's where it was weird, because, like, it doesn't prioritize anything with affinity over other stuff, so if you're playing as the mage and you hit it, it could equip warrior stuff to you.
Yeah, which does you no good. So then I have to go in and look through my equipment anyway to increase all my stats on something. I'm like, this is dumb. Optimization basically made me weaker. So it's like, and that's where it's like, you're almost getting too much equipment per, like, arena.
Right.
To where now I'm spending 10 minutes after every small area looking through the equipment.
Well, and then, like, my other thing is, like, some of the enhancements, they need to adjust their numbers. I'm sorry, 0.4% increase in MP regeneration is stupid.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry, anything less than a % increase is basically meaningless.
Yeah.
What did you think of, like, the arena style? Like, get to an area, everything closes off, you're fighting things, but then you had those different chaos things that were spitting
nothing ever
people
closes
out.
off on you.
Oh, the gates?
Yeah, like the gates type thing.
Like, I liked the monster spawning things.
It reminded me of, like, Gauntlet.
Well, and the thing I like about it, too, is, like, you can say, oh, this thing is spitting out all these enemies. Well, ignore the enemies, go right for the thing that spits them out.
If you killed the enemy, didn't it also do damage to the gate as well?
Yeah, but if you just go up and beat on the gate,
then you can destroy
You can just kill that, and it kills everything they spawned.
Okay.
Yeah, it was actually kind of clever. So if you take out the gate, all the enemies that it spit out, it will also die.
They all explode in
So
the
it's
crystal.
clever.
Hopefully, we'll also have a way so we can actually tell the your group mates, can you please go do this? Because
I'm hoping for some way of like adjusting the AI patterns.
I don't know if they're going to do multiplayer for this.
No,
I know they
doubt
did it for the other ones where
Yeah.
you play by yourself. Obviously, they meant as a single player RPG, but you could also do levels and have help with their characters. So here's to hoping they maybe do something with that where you can do that. But I think if you're going to do a single player and you're going to have teammates or AI teammates, please do something that so they don't look that freaking.
It was pretty
Well,
bad.
and that'll probably be like the next major thing that I didn't like about it is like AI teammates range from oh my god they're doing amazing to why are you looking out the window?
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Why are you just standing there doing literally nothing while Garland is punching me in the face?
Why are you walking around hitting this small guy that's insignificant while these guys are hitting you and then you die and I have to use one of my potions?
I never revived them.
I
never
got to a
did
point.
either.
Yeah, I didn't even do it. I said,
never did.
screw you. You can stay there. I'm just going to go do this.
Pretty much. That's how I ended up. Well, which was even stupid because they had potions. They couldn't revive each other.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would I waste the one of 3 that I have or whatever
I had like 5 or 6 by the end of the demo.
Yeah, like it just I don't know. Like the AI felt really bad, and I'm hoping that's just a demo thing.
I'm hoping so.
I'm
too.
all right with that if that's just a demo thing.
I've had a
all
very
right.
love-hate relationship with AI teammates, and I do love to hate them. So.
Oh yeah. Star Ocean ruined AI for me. Till the end of time. Star Ocean 3. I was on a boss fight, and one of my characters was literally just running and dashing into the lower right corner. Doing nothing. Just dashing into the lower right corner and sitting there. I'm like, what is this thing doing? So I would issue it a command, it would do it, and then run back to that corner. And I was like, all right, whatever. I took control of the character and did some things, thinking maybe I broke it out of its logic loop.
Went back, and it turned back into the corner.
And it went back, and I ended up losing that fight. And I was pissed because I lost like 3 hours worth of progress. I'm like, fuck this, and I never went back to that.
Was it Final Fantasy 12 that where you could do?
That's the Gambit system.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll have something like that. But
Well, I'm
that could
hoping
be...
for more of like the tail style. If your health is above X amount, do this. If it's like, or
please, this person can use items. You should be able to use abilities.
use this.
And do it until you drop
prioritize
out.
using abilities. Attack different enemy than what I'm attacking.
Yeah.
or attack same
I'd be
enemy.
all right with that.
Like if it's the tail style where it's just that menu where you can go through and sort of customize their battle tactics, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, give me a couple of menus of choices for what they can do. Perfect. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Don't leave them their own devices, because most of the time some companies don't know how to do AI.
Well, and the other thing is like they'll on small enemies it would make sense because like we notice this is like if you're fighting a goblin, if they're fighting it and then I come up and start attacking it, they'll just back off.
They don't do anything.
They
They'll
will literally just stand there and watch me fight the goblin. But that sort of that, for a small enemy, that's fine. Against a boss, that should not happen.
Yeah. Which at that point they're basically just cannon fodder. They're to take the heat off of you.
Or they're there to clean up like little mobs that spawn while you fight the boss.
Yeah.
That's literally their only purpose. And at that point, it's just kind of like, well, just give me a spell to cast to clear them out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, AI was a little lacking, which, like we said, I hope that's just demo. All right, whatever. We'll see. But honestly, that's all I have bad about it. Other than that, this is the few times where I think we have more good than bad about something.
Yeah. I think that's potential.
Yes. Potential's a really dirty word, though.
Unfortunately, I think this is one I will wait till it's on sale or I can get a used copy cheaper. I don't know if I'll buy this one at launch.
I think I'm with you. I want to like it a lot because there's a lot of very good things about it.
Like, I hate the Soul style, and I'm actually interested in this.
Yeah.
So that should say something.
I want to see if they do another demo.
Maybe a different part of the game.
A little bit more fleshed out. Let me see what it is. I'm on the fence right now. Like I said, huge Team Ninja fan. I've said that God knows how many times, but I love those kind of games. This was actually interesting to me.
Yeah.
And this one kind of left a sour taste in my mouth, just what I was expecting, but put out another demo, put a different part. Let's see what other things we can do with it.
Show us different classes, maybe.
It might pique my interest. We'll see how it goes.
Like I said, just wait till it's on like a cheaper.
It's a very cool concept. I will give it that. People just it's the internet. Nobody as soon as it's something that you do not remotely like, you will just trash it to infinity, and that's how this era now is going on. It's either really, really great or this is utter trash.
It's also I almost wonder if the whole reason they signed like Team Ninja to design this is so if it goes bad and the Final Fantasy fan base doesn't like it, and neither does like the Team Ninja fan base, well, they can just be like, well, it wasn't us, it was Team Ninja. They're the ones that did it, and Square can step back and be like, we gave them leeway to do what they want.
That's dirty.
But that's something publishers and stuff do.
But that is also dirty to do something, because like I said, that company has done more, or that developer has done a lot more good than bad.
Although I don't know if I can say that, because they're responsible for how many DOA games?
Yeah, but those games are incredible. They redefine tit physics as we know it.
Yeah, and they kick high. Didn't we know
That's
this?
right. So I'm all right with that.
Every other, have you seen the Tekken games? They all kick high now. So
yeah.
But other than that, like I said, that if Square would do that as a scapegoat to them, that would be very dirty.
But see, and then the other possibility is this is a way for Square to test the waters to see if people are interested in a different, like completely different style Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
rather than just stagnating, they're trying to grow what Final Fantasy is. But then again, when have they ever stopped? I mean, like Mystic Quest, completely different from all other Final Fantasies up to that point. You have what was the multiplayer GameCube one?
Crystal Chronicles.
Crystal Chronicles. Then you had the Wii.
And then
Crystal
they ruined
one.
that remake.
And then they have the Wii Crystal Bearer one where you were that dude with like the gravity magic. They've all Final Fantasy has never been a consistent. This is what it is.
Right.
They redefine themselves every once in a while, good or bad. They seem to kind of do that, and then
there's a lot of offshoots.
Yeah.
A lot of kind of like how
and then look at Dissidia.
Yeah. Dissidia. Yeah. They've
like
always done some really goofy
game.
shit.
And whatever they're going to do with Final Fantasy 16. I mean, that looks a little more mature take on it.
Oh God. I don't even get me started on 16.
Oh, I know.
I'll shit on 16 right now just because it's heading.
Because it killed a chocobo?
Just because
Everything he's seen, he's just no.
I'm not impressed. That's all I'm just no on 16. I will try it. I won't lie. If a demo comes out for 16, I'm just not.
If it ends up being a bro fest, I'm out.
Honestly, like it's Final Fantasy is veering into a genre that I don't care for. And like I said, it's not for me, but apparently that's what the trend is in gaming right now, is action RPG. And that's where Final Fantasy's heading, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that's fine. I have 13 other Final Fantasies I can play if I really want to play the old stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. But yeah, like I 16 have zero interest in.
Yeah.
Again, main character looks like a douche. I hate the main character. Why are all these main characters like this? Like it's like they can't get out of that mindset.
Because it's them.
Maybe that's why I like 6 and 13 so much, because the main characters feel different than the typical I'm a dude and I have a party of dudes and I'm just gonna fucking kill everything.
We're gonna drive in a car.
I'm
We're
Titus.
gonna listen to tunes.
I'm Vaughn. I'm Noctis. I'm, you know what I mean? Like, I'm Cecil. All right, Cecil's actually pretty badass, but
Final Fantasy 13 is just I'm female Cloud with
Basically.
I'm
more emotion.
Waka. I'm Waka with a dodgeball.
oh, I will say, Cloud in the remake actually had a lot more to him.
all the characters have more personality.
I'm
so-
appreciating.
Have you
what
played?
they
Have you
do.
played the Yuffie
No.
episode
No,
yet?
I'm getting
I'm
through,
replaying through the full thing.
And then gonna do that? Yeah.
Yeah.
which
I mean, I've already beat the game.
yeah,
Might I say though, the Sephiroth battle at the end
yeah.
is fucking awesome.
I'm looking forward to trying it.
It is one of the few times that I've played a game where I started playing it and I'm sitting here going, "Oh my god, I was not expecting this, but I'm liking this." My daughter Destiny comes up. Are you at the end? Yeah. She sits down and watches. Annie, my wife, comes up. You're at the end, aren't you? Uh-huh. Wait, that's Sephiroth? She sits down. All three of us. They're watching. They're like, heal. And they're all sitting there like, I know what I'm doing. I died.
You didn't heal like I told you to.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah,
But no, like that one. And if I'm, spoiler territory. The game's already been out over a year. Fuck off.
No, I'm just no spoiler for Yuffie. I haven't played it yet.
I haven't played Yuffie yet. I'm actually looking forward to that one.
well, I thought you were talking about Yuffie right now with Sephiroth. I'm like,
No.
Oh,
No, Sephiroth's the end of.
of the remake, right?
Yeah.
Right. I knew that, but I haven't gotten that far yet.
Well, you will.
I know. I'm on my way there.
You think?
He'll get sidetracked by another game in about a week.
No, I
Scarlet
plan
Nexus
on-
just showed up for him, so he's gonna get sidetracked by that one.
No, I want to finish the remake because it's one I'm excited to actually finish because I'm getting into it. I'm really into it.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, that'll do it, I guess, for Stranger of Paradise.
Get it right.
Final Fantasy Origin. Overall, won't be a day one buy.
Nah.
We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
But
I mean, unless if they pull some magic trick and it becomes amazing.
maybe after they get all this feedback and then release maybe another demo. Because when is this supposed to even come out?
Next
They don't-
year.
Next year.
Next year? So they've got some time.
They got time.
I think it's
Yeah.
somewhere around September. I think next year.
Okay.
They really go that far? All I saw was 2022.
Yeah, I wanted to say they were looking at like fall next year.
Oof.
Well, I mean, they got plenty of time then.
For put out a demo that late, man, that's
Yeah.
maybe it might be early. Who knows? But we'll see.
We'll see. I'm a little optimistic. I liked a lot of it. Some of it I think they could brush up on. But overall, I was impressed. I will say. I
Yeah.
liked it more than I thought I would.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Maybe not everyone on this couch, but... but that'll do it. So, Adam, thanks for doing this again. Appreciate you coming out for these.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll
It's
do
fun.
more.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Fuck. But anyway, you can always hit us up on Facebook.
There's Twitter too.
Yes. You can go to PowerTripGaming.com. Takes you directly to the YouTube channel where we're playing through the entire NES library.
Isn't it .tv?
.tv. Fuck my butt. I screwed that up. PowerTripGaming.tv.
Don't you also have an email if you don't want to be on social media?
That's true. NESPowerTrip@gmail.com. If you don't want to contact us on the cesspool that is social media.
Yes.
Send us an email. I will read it.
And there's these
That's right.
PowerCasts.
PowerCasts on iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify.
Those are the ones.
We're also on YouTube there too. If you're already there on PowerTripGaming.tv for the third time.
All the side quests you do.
Side quests, which we've been going heavy on lately with Super Mario RPG because I've just been enjoying it. And we'll actually get to Metroid soon. We'll do Metroid
Damn right
Fusion.
we are.
Because
Because we're playing Dread when that one comes out.
yeah,
So.
and I'm excited for that. Super excited for Dread. But that'll be a different PowerCast episode.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Metroid. But anyway, that's it. So this has been the PTG PowerCast.
Guess what?
What?
Chaos!
You're listening with Chaos.
You're listening with kids. So stupid. God damn it, Jack. Could you have picked a worse fucking name, too?
God damn it,
Like-
Bald Dante.
Technically, they already did a Jack in the Final Fantasy universe. They had, from Type O, there was Jack.
Do they even consider
Yeah.
that canon?
Yeah, that was 13 canon. I think,
Is
isn't
it a
it?
typo? I thought it was.
Type
its own
O was part of
universe.
13. It was part of
it?
the Nova.
Did
What was it, the
anybody
Nova
even-
Cresselia?
Oh, that's right.
Anyone even play it?
I did.
I have it actually.
I haven't.
I haven't.
too.
I want to
don't
play.
think I've touched it since.
I want to play through the remastered version because I never finished the original.
It was all right.
Right. All right. Whatever. Bye.
Yeah.
See ya.
Bye!
Ah!